Hi everyone, this is Shirley from Shirley's World, and I'm going to do a little video here about how I got started on eBay. My life on eBay. It started a long time ago. I took notes because I had to look a lot of things up. This I'm doing as a recording, so there's no chat. But please, if you have anything to comment on, just comment after the video when it shows up on YouTube. Long time ago, before we moved into this house, we moved into this house in 1997. So the 14 or 15 years before that, I had an antique and craft store. It was mostly antiques in Avon, Ohio. And we had some crafty things, like primitive type crafty things in there too. But it was mostly antiques, anywhere from furniture to china to antique kitchenware, anything. I loved antiques, and once we found this house way out in Medina, it was way too far to drive. Once we decided to buy this house, we started to sell out our antique store. We sold a lot of it out at really big sale prices, and some of the things we advertised as a sellout, and other antique dealers would come in and buy our inventory. So after that, I still, of course, had a lot of things that didn't sell. So I had a whole load of stuff that we had to bring home. We moved into this house then out here. That was in 97. In 1998, my daughter had a horrible car accident that took up a lot of time because she had to recover here. She was in the hospital a month, and then she had all her therapies here, and she lived here for a while till she was better, or well. Anyway, at that same time, no, it wasn't that time yet, but in 2003, just before that, my husband was diagnosed with leukemia, and he was not doing well. My mother was sick and died in 2003. My husband died in 2005. And right after that is when I started selling on eBay. I have, of course, I save everything. So I went back and looked for receipts and things. I kept my receipts from the store, from my Woods and Goods store, for years and years and years. I think I finally threw them out. But these eBay receipts, I found receipts from 2005. They were very interesting, of what I used to sell back then. So I started selling, of course, antiques, because I had all these antiques left from my antique store. And I sold antiques and some crafts that I had sold at the store. After my mother died, the things that the family didn't want, we had a big estate sale, and still things were left. So things that we didn't donate, we brought home. My sister and I, she brought some home, I brought some home. Some of the things that were worth quite a bit, and like I had a complete nesting set of Fiesta mixing bowls, all those colors. So I sold them on eBay, and of course, my sister and I split the money. I forget what they sold for, but they went pretty high. I looked through what I used to sell back then. And I was selling things at a much higher price because they were one-of-a-kind items, you know. And I was getting good prices for them, but I wasn't putting things on eBay, but, you know, a couple times a week or not even that. So the total I made, like for the year, wasn't much. I mean, I could have never paid off anything with it. But it was something. So after I sold that stuff out, I was a beauty consultant for Mary Kay, like almost everybody else that tried that. That didn't work for me because I'm not a real go-getter salesperson. So you had to do all this stuff and have little shows and all, and it just wasn't for me. So I had all this inventory. My husband had bought me, I think, $1,500 worth of inventory to start out with. And then I added to it as I was selling, because I was in Mary Kay a few years. So when I finally stopped selling Mary Kay, I had all this inventory. I took what I wanted. I gave my sister what she wanted. And the rest I started selling on eBay. So I sold the rest of my inventory out on eBay. That's one of the first things I started selling. Of course, I never made a profit. You know, I was selling things for less than they cost, but I got rid of everything. I had to bundle some things there at the end, you know, do some bundling. And then I wanted to keep selling because I enjoyed it. So I looked into buying things wholesale, just little tiny lots, not big lots. I didn't know what to buy. I liked shabby chic things. So I bought a few shabby chic things from some wholesaler and tried that for a while. I did sell the things, but not for very much profit. And then I decided, well, I'd look on eBay, because we had horses way back. Of course, we've had horses a long time. So I started thinking, well, maybe I ought to just sell equine stuff and pet things, because that interested me. So I did buy some wholesale pet things. I think some collars and leashes and some little water bowls, collapsible water bowls that you'd take hiking with you, you know. But they only sold for $2 or $3. I mean, I wasn't making anything, but I had quite a few of them. I would buy, like, I don't know, 25 at a time or so. But so I had those. Then I started looking on eBay, just people selling things, and I noticed that there were a lot of decent saddles on sale on eBay for less than I thought they were worth, for sure. So I tried that for a while. I bought, like, eBay arbitrage. I started buying saddles. That involves having the saddle shipped to me. And you had to pay for that, plus what you paid for the saddle. And then I would sell the saddle online for a little bit of profit. I tried to at least make $50 on saddles for it to be worth it, because then I had to ship saddles out. But the person that bought it paid the shipping. However, there's carting, there's boxing the saddle, which isn't any small, you know, thing to do. Boxing the saddle up and taking it to the post office, because I didn't have any postal pickup back then. So saddles, I bought saddle pads and some bridle things, you know, gear for horseback riding. I did that for a while. And then I started looking for other things to sell, because I just wasn't getting enough of that kind of stuff. So I started shopping around in like TJ Maxx, and I did some retail arbitrage in TJ Maxx, buying home goods, not clothes. I bought home goods like quilts, and that fit in with the shabby chic stuff that I like. Quilts and sheets and teapots. I sold a lot of teapots, and some dishes that I had. Most of the dishes I sold were antique dishes that I had myself, that I had gotten from my mother or her sister, or just from our antique shop. So I sold a lot of dishes, Flow Blue, really nice things that I made a little bit of money, but not, I wasn't killing it, that's for sure. And then my sister and I started scrapbooking. I only did it for maybe, I don't know, not even a year. I did the scrapbooking. She really liked the card making. And to this day, she's still doing it. She's still doing the card making. Her craft room looks like a store. And so then I decided, well, I'd sell all my craft stuff out on eBay. So that's the next thing I sold, scrapbooking things. The things that my sister couldn't use or already had, I would sell on eBay. So I sold all my scrapbooking things on eBay, stamps and all kinds of things. Those cutout things, those machines that you cut things with. I think they do it differently now. So then I sort of gave up eBay for a while. I took a long break from eBay because those were between the years of 2005 and 2007. And then I don't think I started selling again till about 2015, maybe 2014. And the reason I started again is my husband's parents had died, and their house in Florida, my husband found a huge bag of antique coins, silver, all silver. And he brought it home, and he just threw it in the closet, and we forgot about it completely. So in 2015, I found this bag. This is after my husband had long passed away. I found this bag of silver coins way back in the closet, a closet that I never used. So I was looking at them, and they're all silver. They're, old silver coins. So I thought, maybe I can sell these on eBay to collectors. So I did a lot of research, and that's what I did. I would sell a coin at a time until I got down to the very end. And then I would sell 5 at a time, and when the dates got, they weren't real old. They were still silver though. So anyway, I think total that I made on those coins, I made something like $3,000 or $3,500 selling those coins. So, but they of course ran out. I still wanted to sell on eBay because it was getting to be a lot of fun. So I thought, well, I'm going to go to the thrift store. That was my first time that I thought I would go to the thrift stores. So one time when my sister was up here, we went to the thrift store, and I looked around, and I didn't know anything about electronics. I didn't know anything about hard goods type stuff. So I thought, we went over to because my grandchildren at that time were little, or had been little, and I thought it'd be fun to sell little baby clothes and little children's clothes, toddlers and that. So I picked out a lot of baby clothes, toddler clothes, because you can get them almost brand new, because the babies sure don't stay in their clothes long. So I bought a bunch of those and tried selling children's clothes, young, like up to toddlers. Well, they don't sell well. At least they didn't for me. I wasn't making hardly anything. And when I looked at how the sellers were selling them, they were selling them in big lots of clothes, you know. But I wasn't getting them cheap enough to sell them like that. So that is when I started looking. Well, wait, let me back up a little bit. After the retail arbitrage, before I did the coins, my husband was a fisherman. He had loads of lures and things. He had lures, fishing lures, and what my son didn't want, I sold on eBay because they sold pretty good, fishing lures. I found pocket knives, some really good ones. I sold knives, pocket knives mostly, and things around the house that I still had. I had some duck decoys, and I had a witch's hat chandelier, if you know what that is. It's a very primitive looking chandelier. That's the one thing I wish I would have kept, because I could have used it. I would have replaced this one and used that one. But I sold it to somebody right close in the area because there was no wrapping. I didn't know how in the earth I was going to ship this chandelier. So it was just to sell to somebody in the area. So I sold it right away for like $80 or $90. And we met in the parking lot of some restaurant. And that's how I sold that to some nice lady. So, okay, then that's when I started, after the children's clothes, then I started looking into regular adult clothing. And, you know, remember way back when I first started selling antiques and things like that, I could look up how much people were selling things for. I never knew to look under the sold listings. There weren't any YouTube videos out there telling you how to do any of this. So it wasn't until I started thinking about selling clothes like I do now that I started watching these reseller videos on YouTube like I'm doing now. But there's so much good information you can get from these. That's how I learned to sell on eBay. And now I'm selling on eBay and Poshmark. So there's all kinds of instructions and people doing that also. So that's my story of how I got started from way back, from like from 1997 really, when we sold out our store, till this date. A lot of years. 20 years, I think, yeah. So I thought I'd come on and tell you my story. I have another haul video to do a little later. I don't know if I'll get it done today or maybe tomorrow, because I do have to go to the barn today a little later. And I do have to photograph the things that I showed you in the first video that I got last Friday. But I'd like to know, before I do this second video, haul video, I'd like to know if you'd rather me sit at my desk and show you the clothes right out of the bag like I was doing all along, or if you'd like that last video about how I had it laid on the table and you just saw the items spread out on the table. So give me your opinion if you go back and watch that. So I'm going to close for now because I have to upload this now onto YouTube. So, bye for now.